It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from Marks and Spencer, and it's a bottle of the Irish Stout. There was a part of me that thought to myself, do you know what, I'm gonna probably put this up against the Guinness. Guinness Irish Stout versus Guinness Original versus Guinness Draft versus Irish Stout. But you know, I've done a lot of that lately. I really have. I've done a lot of that lately, and I just want to give this beer the 8 minutes or so I talk about it, its own kind of spotlight. I think as much as I love doing the versus battles, what I've found is I'm going away from them, and I feel like that I've wanted to give an awful lot more towards like maybe one beer or the two beers I've wanted to make. But then you end up making a 20-minute video and they're far too long and people get bored. But what I'm trying to say is that I want to give this 8 minutes. I want to give this its own kind of 8-minute slot on the channel, because I feel, being from Marks and Spencer, and they've used an Irish brewery here, I feel that this beer could be very good. Could be very good. I might be wrong. It might be terrible. Who knows? Let's get it out into a glass and see what we get. It's by Carlo Brewing Company for Marks and Spencer, 4.5% ABV, a recipe that was introduced in 1740. So there we go. And of course, what I like about these Irish stouts from other Irish breweries is that they're all trying to knock Guinness off its perch. They're all trying to do that. And the only way they're going to knock Guinness off their perch is by making a better version of a stout than Guinness. So what you often find is, with these other Irish stouts, is that they're kind of far better in quality because they're pushing so hard to push Guinness off the top slope of the pedestal. You've only got to look at like 2023. Colin McGregor come out with that Forge Stout in Asda, and he really kind of wanted to, you know, I think I've seen a banner in Asda saying, we're not here to just be here. They're saying they're here to become number one. And I mean, that's probably a sense of Conor McGregor, isn't it? He wanted to become number one at his kung fu wrestling, what they call it, cage fighting type thing. And of course now he wants to become number one in the stout world. I shouldn't be talking about Forge Stout here, really, should I? I should be concentrating fully on this Irish Stout from Marks and Spencer. So we will. My whole point is, though, that there's people lining up behind Guinness to try and make an overtake. Get in the slipstream of Guinness, make an overtake, stick it into the first corner, round we go, and then they can start making their own faster slap after faster slap. One finger tan coloured head, jet black beer in the glass, good levels of carbonation. It looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Looks like it's got a fantastic body. Let's get the aroma. Whoa. Spicy, peppery, hoppy. Oh, smells great. Smells really good. A real toasty stout. One last Formula One reference before we tuck into this beer. I wondered if Eddie Irvine, one of the great Formula One drivers of the 90s, I wondered if he drinks a nice black stout, being from Ireland himself. Cheers, everyone. Ooh, okay. I reckon this stout's going to take a couple of tastes. This is going to take a couple of little tastes here just to get my head round this one. It's like, so my first initial reaction to the taste is that it's very spicy and peppery, really spicy and peppery and kind of almost herbal in the taste. And the more I drink it, the more complex I feel it is. I like it. I really like it. Probably not as thick and bold and rich as some stouts, I would say. I would say it's a little thin. It's probably drinking more like a traditional porter. But there's some heat there. There's some heat in this beer. And what I mean by that is not an alcohol heat. It's really quite spicy. It's whatever they've added to this beer, it's really kind of, it's first and foremost in my mind. It's kind of like front and centre of my mind, just how it's hot and peppery and spicy. It's almost as if they've used some chilli in the beer. Almost tastes like a chilli beer. And that I was kind of edging towards that earlier on in the review when I was saying it's herbal, it's really peppery and spicy. Yeah, I was kind of working up to that moment where it's like almost like a realization. You're feeling all this heat in your throat and you're like, does this beer have chili in it? I doubt it from 1740. I doubt it very much, but water, malted barley, roasted barley, flaked barley, wheat, hops, and yeast. So where am I getting this heat from? Where am I getting this hot, peppery, spicy, but bitter? Let's clear one thing up here. It's got lovely roasted malt flavour. There's some nice roasted malt flavour coming through in this beer. It's very much in that department a traditional stout. But then there's enough of this beer to go, oof. It's almost like someone accidentally dropped a chili out of their pocket into the boil kettle or something. There's something slightly odd about the beer, but I like it. I like it because it's different. Is it as good as Guinness? Because that's what you all want to know, really, don't you? You see an Irish stout on a bottle from Marks and Spencer, and you're thinking, is it going to be as good as Guinness? I would say it's far more complex. £1.80 a bottle. It's a far more complex beer than Guinness. This beer had me thinking for the best part of 5 minutes, 6 minutes about that kind of, and I come to the conclusion that it's really spicy and chilli-like. But it took 5 or 6 minutes. You won't get that with Guinness. You won't get that kind of thought process. You'll open the can, you'll pour the can of Guinness, you'll drink some of the Guinness and you go, oh, that's nice. Whereas this is like having to engage your brain. This is like having to kind of switch your brain on and go, actually, I need to break this down. Because I think if you just went into this drinking it for the sake of drinking it, which I'm sure many of you do, I think you're going to go, ooh, it's going to put you on the back foot, like it put me on the back foot slightly. And it's going to make you really think about it. And if you're anything like me, you like to be challenged by beer and you like to be pushed by beer. This has certainly pushed me. I like it enough to give it a Stone the Crows 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Try it from yourselves, from Marks and Spencer's. See what you think on a personal level. It's a very different stout from what I'm used to. But thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.